Our topic today is on the sale of human organs. The selling of human organs or organ harvesting refers to the removal, preservation, and use of human organs and tissues from the bodies of the recently deceased to be used in surgical transplants on the living. In the US, the British Medical Association sells the body parts that people need. However, a kidney or liver costs $62,000. Since they are too expensive, people participate in abductions to sell the organs or use it to their benefit. I am here to argue that the sale of human organs is tearing humanity. Vidal Herrera, a freelance autopsy technician in LA, explains that a person who procures and sells human tissues can make anywhere from $80,000 to $200,000 per body. My first claim is surprising and shocking that doctors engage in organ harvesting and believe that monetary value supersedes the lives of their patients. They perform unnecessary operations on the patients to remove their healthy organs and sell it for huge amounts. In February 2006, 25-year-old Ruben Navarro's death was hastened in San Luis Obispo Hospital because Dr. Rutan Rosro, a San Francisco transplant surgeon, wanted to gain money by harvesting his organs. Doctors are now placing their wealth above the patients who come to improve their lives. In 2010, more than 110,000 people needed organs in the US. And in 2009, the US had about 8,021 dead donors, which is significant because it shows the increase in the death rate. Moving on to my second claim, that young adults and children are being abducted and killed to sell their organs. Arthur Kaplan, an ethicist in the University of Pennsylvania, says, "Human tissue is worth more than diamonds." The strong and fit organs of the young are harvested to simply gain money, or in other words, rarely to help another life. Nonetheless, it is unethical to kidnap and kill people for stealing their body parts and selling them. On August 1st, 2012, the Express Tribune reported the kidnapping and killing of an 8-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. The police said that most organs, like the kidneys, lungs, and heart, were missing, and this was confirmed by the autopsy report. Finally, my third claim highlights that poverty has taken its toll on the poor who are forced to sell their organs to pay off their high debts. However, the organ brokers trick them with a twist. A kidney is sold for $62,000, but they're only paid $700. Hence, the gap continues to increase and the poor continue to be poor. Nancy Shepard Hughes, an anthropologist in the University of California, Berkeley, says in an article, "In general, the flow of organs follows the modern routes of capital, from south to north, from third world to first world, from poor to rich, from black and brown to white, and from female to male." In May 2012, the Guardian newspaper of the UK contacted an organ broker in China who advertised his services under the slogan, "Donate a kidney, buy the new iPad." He offered £2,500 for a kidney and said the operation would be performed within 10 days. It may be shocking, but it's still happening in the world. WHO, World Health Organization, is saying that the poor people are amputated for cash, while the wealthy sick continue in the body parts trade. In conclusion, Luke Noel, a doctor and WHO official, says 106,879 solid organs have known to be transplanted in 95 member states in 2010, legally and illegally. But those operations satisfied just 10% of the global need. WHO's Luke wants countries to defeat the traffickers by maximizing the supply of organs from deceased and living donors and encouraging healthy lifestyles to stop people getting conditions such as diabetes in the first place. In my opinion, it would be better to make the organ transplantation legal, because that will stop people from being kidnapped and wrongfully remove their organs. Also, what is important is the right mechanism, the legal infrastructure, to ensure the legal transplantation goes on smoothly without any untoward happening. Once this is guaranteed, we can bring down the illegality of this entire transaction.
All right, it was a little unclear to me what the word in the proposition was. It's going to do something to humanity, but I couldn't make out what it was. I could tell generally that you think that the transfer of organs is problematic, but it seems strange because at one point you're talking about how there are all these immoralities involved and how it is exploitive of all these other groups and so on and so forth. And then at the end you're kind of advocating that it should be legal. I'm not sure why going through a broker to sell your kidney for an iPod, or an iPad, let's be more specific, let's shoot high, would be, how would that be more morally acceptable, less subject to problems if the transfer of organs was legal? That was not explained, and it seems to me like you run into the same problem when you're talking about people being murdered or kids being taken, for instance. Why would that suddenly disappear if it was legal? There was not really an explanation of that. The number of illegal transplant or organ transfers is not really quantified. You've got a good piece of information about the number of transplants that occur around the world, but as you have said yourself in the evidence, it's legal and illegal, so we don't know which part is part of that underground category that might involve people being murdered or somebody selling their kidney for an iPad and that sort of thing. So I think that there's some information that's missing there. It was a little inconsistent in the point of view at the end. There are some value claims that are being presented as well, and those don't really have a place in this assignment. And at the end, you're making a policy argument, which would require a whole series of additional claims to be able to advance. We're going to be talking about policy arguments when we get to the debate, and there are a whole bunch of other issues that never get discussed because that's presented in the last minute of the speech, and like I said, it opens a whole can of worms, whether or not we could afford to do this, whether or not it's practical, whether or not there are negative consequences to it, whether or not it's necessary. And I think that that's the only issue that you try to talk about, whether or not it's necessary to legalize it, and I'm not sure why the evidence that you cite demonstrates legalization is the best answer. All right, thank you.